My name is Anna. This is our faculty staff yoga class. So super happy y'all are here. We have 45 minutes together, so we'll end right around 1 o'clock. This class is designed for all levels and all walks of life and all practices, whether you've never done yoga before or whether you've been practicing for a long time. So if you've never done yoga with me in person, you might wonder what this is in front. We have friends joining us virtually as well. This is a hybrid class. So that's why the chair and the camera are here, and you might see me like, if I wander off, I try to make my way back to my mat so that the folks on Zoom can see me. And then that's why I have the headphones so they can hear me. So super happy to have them on with us today. There are extra mats, blocks if you need them. If you're at home or in your office or something, I always say you can use a book or a pillow in place of a block. And I think that's about it. We'll go ahead and get started with some breathing and meditation. We'll move into a core warm-up, some standing strength poses, flexibility. And that is what we have for our yoga practice today. So go ahead and get comfortable to start. You can lay down, you can stay seated, you can lay on your belly, your side, whatever that might be for you. For my friends on Zoom joining today, feel free to listen to any music that you want or have. And that is that. So just getting comfortable wherever you are on your mat, or even if you're on your, if you want to practice with us today, seated in a chair or on your couch, wherever that is for you, just getting comfortable. Maybe closing your eyes if that feels good for you, or you can take your gaze down to your mat. If you're laying on your back, you're welcome to just find a spot on the ceiling, maybe to focus on. At any time in our first few minutes of our practice today that you feel called to continue moving, I encourage you to do so. And when you're called to be still, be still. It is your choice. Maybe starting to check in with your body and your mind, just noticing how you're feeling today as we come onto our mats for our practice. Maybe starting to notice where you're feeling the breath today. I invite you to start to think more about your breath in these first few minutes. Think about breathing in through the belly, moving the breath up into the chest and the heart center. And then as you exhale, release from the chest back down to the belly. If you want to focus on a physical sensation with this breath today, you can place one hand on your belly and one hand over your heart. Really focusing on that deep belly breathing. So inflating your belly as big as you can, and then releasing it. That's our diaphragmatic breath, our deep belly breathing. We engage our diaphragm during this breath, and it's one of the best things you can do to engage your core, especially when you're lying on your back in this position. It also helps us down-regulate our central nervous system and bring us into that nice state of calm and relaxation. At any time in your practice, you're always welcome to come back to this breath. Know that it'll make you feel a little bit more grounded and connected to your mat and to your practice. But you're also welcome to find any other breath that might feel good for you today. Inhaling and exhaling, letting go of any expectations, any competition, and any judgment of ourselves and others. Simply focusing on being in this present moment, in this breath. Remembering that we are always in control of our practice, and we have the power to choose what feels best for our bodies today. At this time, I invite you to make your way down to your backs if you'd like to join me for some nice small little movements here. Knees can be bent, feet on the floor. All we're going to do is take our hands by our sides. As we inhale, start to lift the arms, floating them up and overhead. Exhaling, releasing them down by the sides. Now these arms can go straight overhead, or if you'd like, you can even start to make maybe circles around your body. Inhaling, lifting the arms, maybe feeling the rib cage lift up off the mat. As you exhale, feeling that connection with the spine and the mat once again. So being mindful in our yoga practice is just thinking about how our body's feeling with our breath. Always coming back to the breath and always coming back to how the pose feels in our bodies today. Let's take 2 more rounds of breath here. Getting comfortable moving with our breath. On our last exhale, we'll bring the knees into the chest. We can grab on our hamstrings. And if it feels good, maybe rocking side to side, massaging our low back. This is a nice little rest pose. From here, let's release our right leg, keep our left leg in. We can lower this right leg all the way to the floor and maybe start to roll out our ankle, maybe taking a little external rotation, internal rotation, or maybe some circles with our knee on the ceiling, checking in with how our hips are feeling today. And then we'll release and switch. Other side. And starting to get into a little pattern here. So as we inhale, we switch the legs, maybe rolling through the ankle or the hip on that exhale, and then inhale, switch the legs. Let's take one more little release in the hips on each side. Noticing how the right and left side of the body are feeling today. And then when you're ready, we'll take both knees into the chest, arms come out to our sides in that T position. Now you can either have your knees into your chest. If you want to start to engage and wake up your core a little bit more, take your tailbone to the mat, knees hover right over our hips. As we exhale, we drop our knees over to the right side, keeping the left shoulder down on the mat. We can let the knees fall all the way to the side for a nice spinal release, or we can hover them over the floor, inhaling, coming back to center. So starting to engage our obliques, exhaling, knees drop to the left. And just taking this at your own pace, getting this nice little bit of rotation in our lower back, our lumbar spine. Let's take one more round of these knee drops on each side. Checking in with how our low back is feeling today. And then when we're ready, we'll come back to center, placing our feet on the floor in front of us. Feet are right under our knees and our hands come back onto the mat, shoulders down. As we inhale, we lift our hips, pressing into our feet, coming into our bridge pose. Exhaling, slowly lowering back down to the mat. Now you have a couple options in your bridge. You can stay in this neutral spine here, or if you want, you can start to articulate your spine. As you inhale, maybe pressing the low back into the mat, starting with the tailbone and rolling it up one vertebrae at a time, and then slowly rolling it down from the upper back, the mid back, all the way down to the sacrum. Either bridge option is up to you. Only going as high as it feels good for your knees, your hips today. Let's take 2 more rounds of our bridge flow with our breath, starting to wake up our back bodies. And then we'll meet back on the mat. One last little thing before we roll it up. Feet come out nice and wide. Hands might move a little wider off the mat. And we can just windshield wipe our hips, our knees side to side. Once again, checking in, maybe noticing any tension on one side or the other, maybe noticing how hips, internal, external rotation feels today in our hips. And when you're ready, we'll come back to center. You can bring your knees back into your chest, either roll over to one side or lift your head, your chin, and roll yourself up. Excellent. We're bringing our hands to the front of our mat, our knees under our hips, feet to the back in that all fours, hands and knees, quadruped position. Spreading the fingers like starfish, moving through our cat and cow, starting with our hips. We lift the hips to the side, drop the belly, lift the chest, and then the head, inhale. Exhale from the head, the chin, all the way in the opposite direction. So we're thinking about that bridge pose, right? Starting from one spot on our spine, so tailbone rounds, mid back pulls in, belly buttons and sits bones, and chin in, and then inhale, full spinal flexion and extension here in our cat and cow. Just moving at our own pace. Thinking about inhaling to our cow, exhaling to our cat. Taking 2 more rounds of this today. Maybe just noticing how the flexion and extension feels. Maybe our body prefers one or the other. Feeling free to stay in that place that feels good. Maybe moving our hips side to side. And then we'll come back into our all fours when we're ready. From here, taking our left hand, pressing it into the mat, right hand into the mat, left knee into the mat. As we inhale, our right foot presses up to the sky. So flexing through our foot here, feeling our glute, our hamstring. As we exhale, we pull the knee in towards the chest, rounding our spine. So inhale, press the heel to the sky, think cow. Exhale, round and pull the knee in. One more time on this side. Inhale, press it up. This is our sun dog, and exhale, rounding and lowering the knee to the mat. Switching sides. Inhale, left heel presses to the sky, just feeling this. 3 points of contact, so automatically the core kicks in. Exhale, knee comes into the chest, we round in our spine. Inhale, pressing to the sky. Exhaling, round one more time. And then lowering both knees to the mat, adding on to this. Inhale, right leg, heel presses to the sky. We reach the left arm out in front of us. Ooh, a little more core. Can we exhale, elbow to knee round? Inhale, press the heel to the sky. Exhale, round one more time. Inhale. Exhale. And releasing. Maybe rolling the wrists out if needed. Other side. So inhale, press our left heel to the sky. So the knee is bent, foot flexed. Right arm reaches, finding that balance and core stability. Exhale, rounding in our spine. Inhaling, reaching. Exhaling, round one more time. And then coming back to our all fours. From here, knees walk to the long edges of the mat. Hips sit back to the heels, and we find child's pose. Option to reach our arms all the way out in front of us. We can take the hands behind us. We can also lower our head onto our block, especially if we're wanting to avoid any inversions today. Child's pose is an inversion, so that just means our head is below our heart. Option to also place your hands on the block for a little deeper stretch in the shoulders. Child's pose is also a rest pose. You're welcome to come into this pose at any time during your practice or any other rest pose that feels good for you. From this pose, let's inhale, shift the body forward, coming into a plank position with our knees on the mat. So shoulders right over our wrists. We press the hips forward, knees in line with the hips. Option 1, elbows pull into the body. As we exhale, we come down, little yoga push-up, press into the palm, inhale, come back up. Exhale, sit back, child's pose. Or if you'd like, rest pose. is more of what I'm in this position versus my knees open. Inhale, coming forward, bracing through our core. Option 2, if we'd like, is to come all the way down. So chest lowers to the mat. Inhale, we press back up to our plank, and exhale, child's pose. Option 3, inhaling, coming forward. Exhaling, remembering elbows graze the rib cage, lower all the way down. Tops of the feet come to the mat. Inhale, we press up to our baby cobra. So using our total back strength, feet down on the mat. Exhale, child's pose. So these are all just options for your half series. Let's move through this 2 times with our breath, deciding once again, if you want the chaturanga or not, it is up to you. If you'd like, you can shift all the way forward. You don't even have to worry about the push-up, it's up to you. We'll meet back in child's pose. Staying here, or option to explore downward facing dog if you'd like, lifting your hips up to the sky in that inverted V. Maybe blocking your dog, bending your knees right and left. Checking in with how the calves, the hamstrings, pressing actively into the hands. From here, eye gaze to the top of the mat. We just walk our feet there, nice and easy. Maybe grabbing our block on the way if we'd like, meeting in forward fold. Hands can come to the block, the shins, the thighs. From here, we soften in our bodies. So soften our knees, soften through the chest, the upper back, bringing the rib cage to the thighs, the forehead towards the knees. And we can just shake our head side to side, releasing any tension in the neck. Option to find ragdoll here if you'd like, grabbing alternate elbows. From here, we'll release the hands back to the body or the block or the floor. Inhale, we lift up halfway to lengthen the spine for flat back. Exhale, soften and fold. So finding the difference here. As we inhale to flat back, we lengthen through the body. Exhale, soften and fold. This time, inhale, reverse swan dive. Arms can lift to the sky if it feels good. Exhale, we sit back and find chair pose. So knees in line with toes. Inhale, let's lift one more time. Exhale, option in your chair today is to also reach your arms out in front of you or up to the sky. Full sun salutation. Inhale, big. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Stepping back to find your plank, knees or toes. Inhale, we shift forward. Options, chaturanga, no chaturanga. If you'd like, you can come to full cobra, heart to the sky. Exhale, child's pose or down dog, either option. Stepping to the top of your mat. Inhale, let's lift to find our flat back. Exhale, soften and fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, chair. Moving through that again. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Stepping back to find your plank, knees or toes. Options for your chaturanga or not. Up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog or child's pose. Stepping, lunging, walking to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, lift to lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, chair. Moving through that sequence 1 or 2 more times at your own pace. Feeling free to add on, change it up, eliminate, whatever feels good for you. The goal here is to warm up our bodies, build heat in our bodies, but also to move our breath to all of our major muscles that we're going to be utilizing today in our practice. So that's how we want to think about inhale to one pose, exhale to another pose. We're moving with our breath. rounding out your last sun salutation. Wherever you are, all we're going to do is meet in child's pose or down dog. Either option is good. So finishing up wherever you are, coming back into our child's pose, or if we'd like, that down dog. Finding our breath here, maybe just noticing how our body's feeling after all of those sun salutations. From our child's pose or our down dog, we're looking to the top of our mat, stepping our left foot to the front to find that low lunge position. We can lower the left knee or the right knee. We can also walk the foot forward with our hands just to make sure that our knee is in line with our toes. Excellent. From here, let's slowly take our hands up our thigh, meeting so that our shoulders are over our hips in our lunge today. Squeezing through our right glute. Can we inhale, float the arms to the sky? Releasing our left hand down, reach over with the right. Nice hip flexor stretch. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, hands meet back on the mat. From here, we tuck the right toe, lift the right knee, coming up into our high lunge. So a little balance challenge here. Legs are long, back heel is lifted, back knee is bent, front knee is bent. So we have both of our knees nice and soft here. Hands can stay at heart center or they can grow up to the sky, up to you. Shoulders back and down. Taking one more big inhale. As we exhale, we open to find warrior two. So bending through our left knee, right leg is long. Thinking about pressing into our feet, squeezing our glutes to align our hips under our shoulders. And if you're looking at your left middle finger in the front mirror, your right hand is invisible behind you. Keeping the legs where they are, let's flip the left palm. We reverse our warrior here, opening through the left side of the body. The right hand can be rested on the thigh or it can wrap around the low back, up to you. Eye gaze can be down to the foot, to the side, to the hand. One more big inhale. As we exhale, we float our left arm back to find warrior two. Shifting forward, left forearm to thigh, right arm over for extended side angle pose. Now this arm can be here over the shoulder, or you can reach it forward. If you'd like, you can make some arm circles as well, maybe noticing how our shoulders feeling today. Option as well is to lift the left arm. In our extended side angle, we want the core to be active here, so we're not falling, keeping our, if I lifted my arm and fell over, we want to be actively pressing up and out of the left forearm. One more big inhale. As we exhale, we come back up to our warrior two. Now I like to find my block for this next pose. So if you want to, you can place it in your left hand. Maybe step the feet a little closer, up to you. We straighten this left knee, keep it soft, not locked out. Reach our right hand back, so feeling the rib cage shift back. And then we shift forward, dropping the left hand, meeting in triangle pose. Think about still squeezing into our glutes, bracing through our core, and breathing. Oh, we're doing great. One more big inhale. As we exhale, slowly coming up here, releasing our hand off that block. All we're gonna do is reach both arms to the sky and turn our toes to the long side of our mat. This is our 5-pointed star. Can we bring our heels in, toes out? As we exhale, we release the hands and the hips for sunflower. Inhale to lift and exhale to lower. Just moving on our own pace here with whatever range of motion feels good for us. Sometimes I like to close my eyes here because it just feels good. Moving with the breath, not anything else around us as we close our eyes. It's just our own bodies and our breath. Taking 2 more rounds here, feeling that strength and groundedness in our feet. Meeting back in our 5-pointed star, we'll bring our hands to our hips, softening our knees. Toes turn a little bit more towards the front, so heels in line with the toes. We hinge forward, hinging from our hips, maybe grabbing onto our block, coming into this wide leg straddle position. Option here, if we'd like, is to take some knee bends, side to side. If you'd like, you can come all the way down into Skandasana. It's up to you. Making sure our knees feel good if we're here. And just seeing how the inner outer thighs are feeling. When we're ready, walking our hands from here back to the left foot. So rotating the hips, rotating the feet, meeting in that lunge position. Hands can be on our block if we'd like, or on the floor. And we'll step the left foot back to meet the right, meeting in down dog or child's pose. And our option here is to stay here or move through our half series. So if you'd like, you can shift forward. Exhale. Meeting back in child's pose or down dog. Moving through our sequence on the other side. Eye gaze to the top of the mat. We step the right foot to the front to meet our hands. Finding that nice low lunge position. Option, hands can always come onto our blocks. I like 2 blocks here. Personally, it feels a little awkward with 1. When we're ready, we walk our hands up our thigh. I like to step my foot in a little bit to align my hips under my shoulders. Squeezing our left glute, inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, right hand reaches down, left arm up and over for that nice psoas stretch. Inhale, 1 more time, coming back to center. Exhale, we bring the hands back down to our block or our mat. Finding our balance as we tuck our left toes, lift our left knee, coming up to our high lunge. Softening our knees here. Glutes are still active. And if we'd like, our arms can float up to the sky in our high lunge. Shoulders back and down. When we're ready from here, opening, so left foot's gonna land on the mat. We open to find our warrior 2. Our right knee is bent, making sure our knees are happy and in line with our toes. And if we'd like, our arms can grow out in front of us. So if we're looking at our right knee, we want to actively think about pressing it out towards our pinky toe. Excellent. From here, we keep the legs where they are, flip the right palm, reach back, reverse warrior. Opening through our right side of the body. The left hand can wrap behind us if we'd like. Maybe noticing the differences in this side versus the other. Taking 1 more big inhale. Exhale, we come back to find warrior 2. Right forearm shifts forward. Left arm reaches up and over, extended side angle pose. Once again, option here to move through those arm circles if it feels good. Option to reach the left or right arm off of the thigh if we'd like, keeping the shoulders stacked left over right. 1 more big inhale. As we exhale, maybe grabbing our block, coming up to back to our warrior 2. Straightening our right leg if we'd like. I like to walk my feet a little closer. It's up to you. It just makes my hips feel more in line. Reaching the left arm back, feeling that in our rib cage, and then the right arm forward. So this is the movement coming from our rib cage. Reach back, then reach forward, and then lower the hand to the floor. So it's important to know that because it's not just coming from here to reach for the floor. We want to shift our rib cage forward and then lower the right hand. Squeezing through our glutes here, still pressing actively into both feet. Left arm reaches to the sky. So really thinking about that rotation, we're pressing the left shoulder back to be in line with the right. One more big inhale. As we exhale, we lift and open to find our 5-pointed star. So heels in, toes out. Big inhale. This time as we exhale, elbows pull back and down for moonflower. Excellent. Inhaling up to the sky. Exhaling, sinking down. Elbows pull down. Just finding this movement with our own breath here, just like we did sunflower. Two more rounds with our breath. And then we'll meet back in our 5-pointed star. Taking our toes back to the side of the mat in line with our hips, hands to our hips. We soften our knees, hinging from the hips, finding that wide leg straddle position once again. The heels can always walk out, toes can walk in. You can take those knee bends. If you'd like here, you can deepen this straddle position by bringing your forehead closer towards the floor, well, maybe walking your feet wider, maybe walking your hands under your body. Completely up to you here. Nice deep stretch for the hamstrings and the hips. Coming back to center when you're ready, we'll lift up, walk our hands back towards our right foot, rotating our hips to the long side of the mat, stepping our right foot to meet our left in our down dog or child's pose. An option to move through your final round of your half series if you'd like. This is going to be our last active down dog, so feeling free to take anything that you'd like from here in your down dog. And then whenever you're ready, we'll meet back in child's pose. Excellent. From our child's pose today, we're going to do a little different stretch. Shifting our hands to the front of us and shifting our body forward, almost as if we're in that plank position on our knees. We're lowering our chest, our body all the way down to the mat today for some of our deeper stretching. Excellent. The first thing we're going to do is think about our right knee, and we're just bringing that right knee out to the side. Excellent. So it's a nice little hip release facing a different direction here. Now we have a couple of options today to get a nice release in our low back. Thinking of our left hand, if we'd like, we can thread our left arm under, rolling onto our side a little bit, getting that nice shoulder stretch as well here from this pose. So if you roll back a little bit, you might be able to feel that shoulder stretch. Your head can rest on the mat, or if you'd like, on your block. And just finding a nice breath here. If the shoulder doesn't feel good in this position, then you can just come down into this nice hip release. When you're ready, we'll slowly release our left arm, release our right leg back to our mat, and we're just switching sides. So this time our left knee will come up only as far as it feels good for you today. Our right arm will reach under and through. And again, we can stay right here and put our block under our head if this feels good, or we can lower the head, roll the body a little bit more to the right. It is totally up to you. This is a great position to get into when you first wake up in the morning. And you can reach your left arm back behind you as well. You might even notice a little pop resetting your back. Slowly, we'll take our right hand back out, release our left leg. Coming back onto our backs here with our eye gaze to the floor. Right arm's gonna reach out in front of us. Left hand is going to reach back towards our left foot. So we bend our left knee. I like to flex my foot. You can see how it feels best for you. Left hand reaches back, and it's personal preference. Personally, I think the majority feel better grabbing the outside of the ankle, but you can, if you feel like that feels good for you, to grab the inside of the ankle, finding a nice little bow pose here. If you'd like, you can press your right hand into the mat, press your left hip into the mat, getting a nice quad stretch as well as a nice little bit of extension in our spine. And we'll release that leg. Left hand comes out in front of us. We can always stay right here, bending our right leg or reaching our right hand back behind us, grabbing onto our ankle and finding our bow pose on the other side. Same thing here, pressing into our left hand, maybe pressing our right hip into the mat a little bit more as we find a little bit of extension in our spine. Taking one more round of breath. And then slowly releasing, coming back to center. Hands come back under our shoulders. We press ourselves up, sitting back into our last child's pose of the day. A nice counter stretch for that extension in our spine. Taking a couple breaths here in child's pose. When we're ready, we'll slowly walk our hands to our body, lifting our head, our chest, shifting around. So bringing our legs out in front of us. I like to extend my left leg, keep my right knee in, using it as a break as I round through my spine to slowly lower myself down onto the mat, starting from the low back to the mid back to the upper back. And then from here, we'll bring our left knee in to meet it. We can gently rock side to side, once again, massaging our low backs. Last stretch or pose that we're going to be doing today is our spinal release, our spinal twists. So arms come back out to the side. If we want our block nearby, we can have it. Right, our knees are going to fall over to our right side, and they can rest gently on the block, or they can come all the way to the floor for that nice spinal rotation. Keeping both shoulders down, and if we'd like, our eye gaze can turn in the opposite direction. Taking 2 more rounds of breath here. On your next inhale, we'll slowly bring the knees back to center, bringing the hips back to the mat, and then over to our left side. Once again, option to rest them on our block or all the way to the floor. And then maybe taking our eye gaze in the opposite direction. Taking 2 more rounds of breath here. When we're ready, let's bring our knees back to center, hips back on the mat. Taking any last and final poses that maybe you're wanting to explore in your body today, and then we'll meet for final relaxation. So options here for final relaxation, if you'd like. The goal is to get comfortable. So maybe Shavasana is what you want, legs extended, hands by the side. Maybe you want your feet on the mat, knees in, feet together, knees open. Again, you can lay on your belly if that felt good, on your side, whatever is gonna bring you the most comfort, peace, and relaxation. Starting to wiggle your fingers and toes again, just bringing awareness back into your body and your space. Whenever you're ready, you're welcome to bring your knees into your chest, rolling over onto your favorite side, using your arm as a pillow, just resetting our blood pressure, heart rate. And then slowly at your own pace, you can press yourself back up, coming to a seated position once again. Sitting up nice and tall, we'll finish by taking one more collective breath together as we inhale, arms reach up to the sky. And as we exhale, we bring our hands back to heart center. And we end our yoga practice by saying something together if we'd like. That simply means I honor, see, and observe the light in each and every one of you. It is also within me. Namaste.